So you've probably seen those headlines flying around lately about tattoos.
Oh, yeah, the ones linking them to lymphoma risk.
Exactly. It definitely caught our eye. And, well, we figured it's worth doing a bit of a deep dive for you, going beyond just the scary titles.
Absolutely, because those quick takes can be, let's say, a little misleading sometimes. We've been looking at some of the discussion around the study itself.
Right. The goal here is really to understand what the research actually suggests.
Precisely, and maybe why the headlines don't tell the whole story.
Okay, so let's unpack it. The material we looked at starts by pointing out, pretty obviously, how incredibly popular tattoos are now.
Yeah, way more common than they used to be. Which means, naturally, any health headline connected to them is going to get a lot of attention.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
A serious word like lymphoma next to something so common. It's bound to raise some eyebrows, maybe some concerns.
Mm-hmm. But here's the first really crucial point the source material brings up. The difference between association and causation.
Ah, yes. The classic correlation isn't causation.
Exactly that. The study found an association, meaning in their data, people with tattoos seem to have a slightly higher rate of lymphoma. But, and this is the big but,
That doesn't automatically mean the tattoos caused the lymphoma.
correct. It just means those two things were observed together in that specific group. It could be something else entirely that tattoo wearers in the study had in common.
Like the umbrella example, right? More umbrellas when it rains, but the umbrellas don't cause the rain.
Perfect analogy. There's a link, but one isn't directly causing the other. They're both related to a third factor, the rain, or in the study's case, potentially something else entirely.
So what else did the text suggest might be getting lost between the study and the headline?
Well, it emphasizes there's much more to the story. That usually hints at complexity.
Yeah.
Things like the study's limitations, maybe other factors they couldn't fully account for, or specific inks involved. What about the number of tattoos or the size?
Right, all those variables. Maybe people who get tattoos also share some other lifestyle habit, or maybe it's related to where they got the tattoo, or, so many possibilities.
Exactly. The text implies these nuances often get stripped away for a simple headline. It sounds like the relationship isn't a straightforward tattoo equals higher risk.
So, thinking about how science usually works, one study showing an association is rarely the final word, is it?
Not at all. It's often just a starting point. Proving cause and effect is a much longer, more rigorous process. It needs more research, bigger studies, controlling for all those variables we mentioned.
The source might have even pointed to specific weaknesses in this particular study's method.
It's certainly possible. Limitations are part of any single study. That's why looking at the whole body of research is important, not just one finding splashed across the image.
So for you listening, if those headlines maybe caused a bit of worry, what's the main takeaway here?
I think the main thing is caution about jumping to conclusions from just a headline. The material really encourages looking deeper, understanding the context, Don't let the initial shock value be the only information you get.
So let's sum that up. What we've seen suggests a study found a link, an association,
Yes,
but it does not definitively say tattoos cause lymphoma. Big difference.
a very big difference. It highlights why we need more information, more research, and a more nuanced view than a quick news alert can provide.
It really underscores the need for critical thinking, doesn't it? Especially with health news that can feel quite personal.
Definitely. Always ask,
Hmm.
what's the source? What did the study actually find? Are there other factors?
Which leads to a final thought. Tattoos are so mainstream now, part of so many people's lives. Thinking about this study, what other questions does it raise for you about how we study long-term health and all the lifestyle choices we make every day?
That's a great question to ponder. How do we best track the subtle, long-term effects of common practices in a